Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have discussed about a brief about introduction to programming languages. There I have told you about classification of programming languages. We have learned about high level languages. We have learned about low level languages. And I have also shown you in the last slide a sample C program. That is how a sample C program in C language looks like. Okay. But in today's video exclusively, we are going to see how to print output in C. We are going to learn how to print output in C. In the sample program which we have seen in the last one or the lecture one, there I have told you or explained you to print text that is hello world on the screen. But that was not enough. In today's video, we are going to learn how to print text in different styles, how to print a value of variable in C. So let's continue. So if you have seen previous video, I have told you that to print output on the screen, import header file stdio.h. So what is a header file? So if you want to understand header file, at this point of time you can assume a header file to be a set of code which performs a specific task. Okay, so let's write here. So let's write over here what is a header file. A header file, or you can say it is a header file which consists of set of code for output in this case and also input. Okay, when we are going to learn how to take input in C, we are also going to import this same header file, that is stdio.h. So what is stdio.h? stdio.h is a header file which consists of a set of code which help us to take output, to print output and also to accept input from the user. And remember, to print output specifically, we use this function printf. We have also seen the use of this function printf in the lecture 1 where we have printed hello world using this function, right? So today we will learn how to print exclusively with texts and also the variables value. Okay, so what is the important thing for printing? We have to import the header file in the first line of the code, and also we have to use this function called printf. Okay, so how do you include this stdio.h header file? So to include this stdio.h header file, we write hash include stdio.h. So what is this a hash? I have told you in the last class, this is the preprocessor directive. That means it directs the C compiler who is processing the code that before processing you have to include this header file, that is stdio.h. Okay, so this is not a part of the syntax. Yes, this is the syntax to include this header file. Okay. And we use this function called printf to print. Now let's have a look at the syntax to print. So to print, the syntax is that we write the function printf over here, and if we want to print some text, we have to keep it in double quotes, and if we want to print a value of a variable, we use format specifier. What are format specifier? We will learn after some time, but for the time being, let's consider that we only want to print text. So to print text, we have to keep that text in quotes, and if we are not printing any value of the variable, we are not necessary to write the variable name over here. Okay, so suppose you want to print ABC on the screen. So how will you write? So you will write like this: printf in quotes, I want to print ABC. So how will I write? A, B, C. Simple. So what will this code do? This code will simply print ABC on the screen. But you have to keep a thing in mind that here the stdio.h is already included. So before main, or you can say int main function, before int main, stdio.h is included. .h is included. So what is stdio.h? Is this the header file? Okay, included. So clear. So if you want to print ABC on the screen, you can follow this syntax. So what is the syntax? We write printf, and to print text, we keep the text in this double quotes. Here is the quotes ending. So we write the text over here and we end the line if we are not printing any variable name with semicolon and with bracket close, right? So this was about if you want to print text. If you want to print a value of a variable, we use format specifier and the variable name. So let's see how to print specifically a text. Okay, so here we are printing hello world on the screen. So what is done? This is the header file inclusion, which is done first. I have already mentioned this is the int main function. Okay, this is the brace open brace close. Here is the printf function, which is printing hello world on the screen. So if you run this code and this is your output screen and this is your output screen, hello world will be displayed. Hello world will be displayed like this. As simple as that. So to print a text, we know now how to print text in C. So let's see about how to print value of any variables. So I have mentioned that in this slide itself. To print value of a variable, we need format specifier of that specific variable and also the name of the variable whose value we are printing. So what is actually this format specifier? Let's have a look. See, format specifier is used during output and input. Why do we use format specifier? It is a way to tell the computer what kind of data the variable whose value we are printing it's storing. That means if we are printing a value of variable A and A is of int data type. So to tell the compiler that we are going to print a integer type of data, we use format specifier. For int there is a specific format specifier, for printing character there is a specific format specifier, and also for printing double or real number data type there is also a specific format specifier. So what is format specifier? Format specifier is a token, you can say, which tells the computer or tells the compiler what kind of output a variable is holding whose value is to be printed. Okay, so if I'll underline this, it is a way to tell the compiler what type of data is in a variable during taking input, also during printing. So during taking input also and also during printing output, we have to tell the compiler what kind of output we are printing and also what kind of input we are expecting. If in case of input, we will not discuss that, we will discuss about input in the next video. So for the time being, for printing output, we have to tell the compiler what kind of output or what kind of data our variable is going to print. So let's see about few format specifier for respective data types. So let's see. See here, at the first case we have integer. So if you want to print a variable which is an integer data type, we use this format specifier, which is %d. If you want to print a real number data type which is a float type, we use %f. If you want to print a real number output of double type, that is long precision, that means many places after decimal, we use %lf, that means long float indirectly. Okay, similarly if you want to print character, we use %c. Okay, if you want to print a long integer, that means a 20-digit number or a 15-digit number, we use the percentage specifier %li, that means for long int. And if you want to print pointer, we use %p. The pointer is a new thing for the time being. At this stage, we are not in a position to understand the concept of pointer. So for the gist, I can tell you that a pointer stores an address of any other variable. Okay, so don't learn pointer for the time being. Just remember that pointer has %p format specifier. Okay, so let's repeat. If you want to print integer, we have %d. If you have float, we have %f. If you have real number, we have %lf. If you have character, we have %c, and for long integer, we have %li. Okay, so if we now implement this according to our syntax, let's see. So if you want to print value of a variable, let's make a partition over here. Yeah, if you want to print the value of a variable, say a, say int a equal to 5. What does this mean? Variable a is of integer data type and it is holding the value of 5. Okay, so now if you want to print the value of variable a, what will we do? We will include this stdio.h header file before the main and we will write printf like this. See, follow my action. Printf in bracket %d. Why? Because it is the format specifier for integer data type. I have already mentioned there. And brace close, quotes close, comma, the variable name, that is a, and then semicolon. So what will this code do? This code will simply print 5 on the screen. Am I correct? Okay. So what this code is doing? This code is printing the value of variable a. If this a becomes 15, it will become 15 like this. It's as simple as that. If you want to print a character, we use %C in case of %D, right? That is a format specifier for character, and also we will change the variable name to the character variable. Okay, like this. Now we will see few examples. See. So for printing an integer, it is done over here for printing an integer. So what the code is doing? Printf %D A. What is A? A is a variable and %D is the format specifier, which we have already learnt. Specifier. Right? So let's continue. Let's see now few practice problems to print something. So at the first case, we will print our name, and at the second case, we will print the sum of A and B, which is of integer data type, where A is 45 and B is 78. So let's go to VS Code and start coding. Okay. So this is our VS Code. The first problem says to print my name. So how will we print our name? So let's continue. So in the first line, we will write the necessary things. This is #include stdio.h and then int main. After that, we will start coding. So after print main, we will write printf. And my name is Siddhartha, so I will write my name, and that's it. We will write semicolon over here, and our code is good enough to execute. So let's run it. Yeah, so our name has been printed on the screen, and as you can see, my name Siddhartha is being displayed on the screen. So let's now print the next thing, which is the sum of A and B, and here it is given that A is of integer data type, B is also of integer data type, and A has a value of 45 and B has a value of 78. So let's see how we will print this. So let's get back to our terminal, that is VS Code, and start printing this. So we have to declare the integer data type of both A and B. So let's declare two integer, that is int A equal to 45, it is given in the question, and also int B equal to 78. So we will now tell the computer that we have to find the sum of A and B. So obviously the sum which we are going to find is of integer data type. So we are also going to declare a variable to hold the sum. So let the variable name be sum itself equal to A plus B. Clear? Now what will we print? We will print sum. So how will we print? Printf %D for sum, because it is of integer data type, and then the variable itself, that is sum, and we are done with the code. So let's print. Okay, let's run our code. So this is the code which will print the sum of A and B. Let's see. So the sum of code, that is sum of A and B, that is 45 plus 78 is 123, and as you can see, it is being displayed on the screen. Here it is 123. See here, right? So if you want to change the value of A and B to something 50 and 78, so that can be also be done. Okay, let's see. See, the output value comes 128, so it will change accordingly. Now if you want to make few modification to the output which is coming on the screen, you can do few things. Let's see. Suppose you want to print that the sum of A and B, okay, and you want to print the value of A and B too with that, where A is %D, because we are going to print the value of A first, and B is %D. Again for B, the sum is, and already %D is there. Okay, so let's now do few modification, A, B, and then sum. So the first %D over here will correspond to A, the second %D, that is this one, will correspond to B, and the last %D, that is this one, will correspond to the sum which is being printed. So let's see now how the output is coming. See here. See, the sum of A and B, where A is 50, that is the value of A is 50, B is 78, that is the value of B is 78, the sum is 128, that is the sum which is coming. So the first %D is corresponding to the first variable, that is A. second percentage d is corresponding to the second variable, that is b, and it's printing its value, and also the third variable, third percentage d, is printing the sum, which is storing the sum of a and b. As simple as that. So we are done with the practice problems. I will give you few practice problems at the end of this lecture. So let's now move on to the theory part again. See, we are done with these things, printing our name and also printing the sum of a and b. So let's now move to the next thing of escape characters. So let's see what is escape characters. Now, escape sequence or escape character is a collection of sequence, or you can say sequence of character that is not printed on the output screen, but when it is inside the quotes part of the printf statement, it has a certain meaning to the compiler, right? Suppose you want the compiler to print your name in the first line and your address in the second line. So to make the compiler come to the second line and print your address, there has to be some instruction, right? Otherwise it will just print my name and then my address. So to tell the compiler to press and enter and come to the next line, there has to be some instruction or character. So this purpose is being fulfilled by escape sequence or escape character. So what is escape sequence? Let's read the slide. It is a sequence of character that does not represent itself when used inside a string literal or character, but used to print output in various patterns. Okay, it is composed of two or more characters starting with backslash. Remember, the escape sequence always start with a backslash, and here is the character. Okay, so what is escape sequence? Escape sequence does not represent them in the output, but it has a certain meaning to the compiler, for which the compiler executes certain printing patterns. So let's see few escape sequence. Okay, so here I have few lists of escape sequence. The first one we have here is backslash n. So what does backslash n do? When the compiler finds backslash n in the quotes part, remember in the quotes part of the printf, okay, printf, I'm sorry, I wrote the spelling mistake, printf, and in the quotes part the escape sequence are placed generally. Okay, when the compiler finds this backslash n in the next part, okay, now suppose the compiler was printing output screen, it was printing it was printing A, B, C. Now suddenly the compiler finds backslash n. When the backslash n is being found by the compiler, the backslash n will take the cursor to the next line, and then the compiler will start printing again from D, E, F. Now again the backslash n is encountered, again next line. So like this, whenever the compiler finds the backslash n in the printf statement, that is the quotes part of the printf statement, the compiler tells the cursor to move to the next line and start printing, right? So let's now see the another escape sequence, which is backslash t. This is very important. Now if you see the left part of your keyboard, the third key from the top left of your keyboard, there is a tab key. Okay, so what does the tab key do? If you open MS Word and press one tab, you can see a few space is being omitted, or few space is being left by the cursor, right? Which is more than a single space bar, right? So to leave spaces in the output, we use backslash t, which prints one tab space. So if the compiler, if my printf statement looks like this, see, if my printf statement looks like this, printf ABC and backslash t DEF. So what will happen if this is my output screen? ABC, compiler finds ABC, compiler will print ABC. Compiler finds backslash t, that means some amount of space is being left by the cursor after pressing the tab, and then DEF is getting printed. Correct. So this is where the tab space is getting executed. See, backslash t is not getting printed, but tab is getting printed, which corresponds to backslash t. Okay. Now what is backslash b? Now backslash b is generally not used. It is similar to the backspace. I will explain you with the help of an example. Suppose my printf statement is like this. See, printf ABC D backslash b, okay, D and then EF. So what will happen? I have mentioned that this \b correspond to backspace. So what does the backspace in our keyboard do? It erases the left part of the character, which is the corresponding left part of the character. So what will this do? See, compiler finds A, B, C, D. Up to that, no problem. So A, B, C, D is getting printed. A, B, C, D is getting printed. After that, the compiler finds \b. That means backspace. Similarly, if you write ABCD on your Microsoft Word and then you press backspace, what will happen? The D will get erased. Similarly, over here, the D will also get erased. And what will happen? EF will get printed. So this is the output which correspond to this code. Clear about this? So what will this code do? ABCD \EF. It will print ABCD. Then D will be erased because of this \B. And then EF is getting printed. As simple as that. As you do in MS Word, similarly the things happen over here, but with the help of escape sequence. So next come is \F, which is form split. Now at this stage, we are not in a stage to understand what is the meaning of \F or form split. I will explain you in the later part of this course. Okay. So let's now move to the next slide about few practice problems. So see here, I was telling about this question. Print your name and address in the next line. So how do we do this? So let's go to our VS Code terminal and do this. Okay. Let's move to our VS Code ID. So here we are at VS Code ID. We will erase everything over here. Okay. And we will write main, and the essential parts are completed. And we will write our code over here. The first code was print your name and address in the next line. So if you want to see the question again, you can take a screenshot and switching the view. If you want to take a screenshot, see. Okay, so the first program is print your name and address in the next line. Okay, so let's go to a VS Code and see how do we do this. So back here again. So we will print our name in the first line. My name is Siddhartha. Printf SIDDHARTHA, and we want to print our address in the next line. So what will we do? We will write \n, which is for the new line or the enter in this terminal, and my address is Kolkata. So Kolkata, or you can write West Bengal, which is my state. Okay, sorry. Okay, so what will the statement do? This statement will print Siddharth in first line and West Bengal in second line. Let's see. So see, it is printing Siddharth in first line and West Bengal in the second line. Similarly, if you want to do any other execution, say we want to print hello in the first line and world in the second line. So what will this do? So hello in the first line and then WRLD. World in the second line. So when you run this, hello is printed first and then world. See, hello is printed first and then world is getting printed. As simple as that. Clear? So now let's move to the next question, which is coming. That is the pattern. We have to print this right angle triangle with stars. So how do we do this? Now see, we can do this in many ways. Okay. In the later section of this video or in this course, later section of this course, we will find how to print this star pattern with loops. Okay, but here I am showing you with printf with the use of escape sequence or character. But here, before proceeding to do this, I want to explain you one thing. See, how will you print this generally? We will print printf. We will print printf start. Right. After that, we can also do like this: printf again \n, again printf start. Again printf \n. But here you can see what will happen. What will the compiler execute? Compiler will first find this printf. So compiler will print 1 star. After that, compiler, the cursor is over here. Okay, in the first line. Okay, compiler finds \n. What will the compiler do? Tell the cursor to move in the next line. Okay, cursor will come over here. Then printf 2 stars. So 2 stars will print. Then again \n. Again to the next line. Then after that, we write printf star star star. That means 3 star. Compiler will print 3 stars. See here, this is a very long process, right? This is a very long process of printing stars like this, right? But if you want, you can combine everything in a single printf statement by mixing them. See how I do in VS Code. In a very short process, we are going to print this. We are not going to write multiple printf. In a single printf statement only, we are going to print this entire pattern. So how will we do this? We will see this in VS Code. Let's erase this and move to VS Code. So let's now move to VS Code. Yeah, so we are back in VS Code. We will print the star pattern. So let's start. So the first line had 1 star. First line has 1 star, then backslash n. I'm sorry, it is backslash n. After that 2 stars, then backslash n. After that 3 stars, 1, 2, 3, then backslash n. After that 4 stars, okay, 2, 3, 4. Then again backslash n. That is not compulsory. You can give also, not give also, that is not required. So if you run this code, let's see how it's coming. The same star pattern will come. See, the right angle triangle or the star pattern is getting printed over here, right? And if you want, if you are having very much time, you can also do this with multiple printf statement. I'm just showing for the time being. Let's see how do you do it with multiple printf statement, right? So if you have much time, okay, so if you have much time, you can also do it with a multiple printf statement. So I'm showing you how to do. So if you want to make a line inactive in your code, we use 2 times /. So what will this do? This line is called commenting. So what is the meaning of commenting? Commenting makes the program much more readable by the users. But for the time being, to make this line inactive, I am commenting this. I will do the same pattern with multiple printf statements. So let's see how it's done. See, printf, how do we do? Printf and then 1 star. Okay, after that you can give backslash n over here also, or in the next printf statement also. I will just copy this line, Ctrl C, then Ctrl V, again Ctrl V, again Ctrl V. So what will I do now? I will just add 1 star over here, 3 stars over here, and at the end 4 stars over here. The same pattern, the thing which we observed in the last slide, now we will also print the same pattern. See, same pattern is being displayed, but this is more complicated, or you can say this is very lengthy, in the other words you can say. But if you do it with this single printf line, the same thing is being printed. So why waste your time in multiple printf statements? See, the same output will come. So to save your time like this, we can use single printf statement and print this star pattern. So let's now proceed to the next question, which says print the sum and difference of x, y in each line. So here the value of x and y is not mentioned, so we can take any value of x and y. Suppose we take x value of x to be 99019, very big numbers. Computer will obviously calculate numbers which are not calculated or easy to calculate by human mind. So let's take a big number 9919, and y, say we are taking say 9000, similar big numbers, right? So 9919 and 9000. So let's move to a VS Code again and code this. See, here we are back in VS Code. We will just do one thing. We will declare x and y as integer data type. Int x equal to 99019, which I was mentioned over there, and int y equal to 9000, right? I have already discussed that over there. So 9000, and we will write now sum. We will find the sum here. So sum equal to x plus y, and we will find the difference also. We will declare difference variable diff equal to x minus y. See, diff is just a variable name. Okay, for convenience you can also give d and s like that. So x and y, and we will print the sum and difference. So we can print like this: sum is %d for sum, and then we are printing the difference in the next line, right? So backslash n going to the next line, then difference FFER difference is again percentage D, and we are done. And now we will just place the variables. Sum could have first percentage D correspond to sum, so we will write sum variable. Second percentage D correspond to diff, that is difference, so we will write diff. Done. So we are done with our code, and we will run this now, and we will get our answer. See. See the sum of 9090 and so 99019 and 9000 is 10,081.9, like that, a big number, and also difference is this much. So in this way we are finding out the output, how to print the sum and the difference in the next line. Okay, so that's all for today. I will see you in the next video, and till that time you can also practice few questions I will give out in the description box, and keep coding and keep exploring.